Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
If destiny is decided at birth, why do some people discover their purpose much later in life? Why do philosophers describe Lord Shiva as unborn, instead of simply saying he was never born? And if a god can exist without a beginning, what does that say about the limits we place on our own lives? Across many cultures, people grow up believing that destiny starts the moment they are born. Family background, wealth, education, and even astrology are often seen as fixed signs of how life will turn out. This belief brings comfort to some, but fear to many others. People who feel late, different, or left behind often think their path is already closed. Ancient Indian philosophy quietly challenges this idea through the way it speaks about Shiva. In several Hindu texts, especially within Shaiva traditions, Shiva is described as Anadi and Ananta, meaning without beginning and without end. This is not presented as a historical claim about a physical birth, but as a philosophical idea about awareness and reality. Scholars explain that many Hindu stories use symbols to express deep ideas that are hard to explain in simple facts, and this is why debates and multiple interpretations are openly accepted. This video does not try to prove belief or deny faith. Instead, it explores what philosophers suggest and how these ideas connect to real human struggles. Why do we feel trapped by our past? Why do we compare our lives with others and feel anxious about time? And what if destiny is not a fixed line, drawn at birth, but something that changes as understanding grows? These are not easy questions, and honest philosophy never gives quick answers. But by exploring them calmly, step by step, we may begin to see destiny in a more hopeful way. If you are curious about how ancient myths still speak to modern fear, failure, and confusion, stay with this video until the end. And if you find value in thoughtful stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can continue exploring meaningful ideas together. When philosophers ask whether Lord Shiva is born or unborn, they are not asking the same question we ask about human birth. This is the first point that often creates confusion. In many Hindu texts, especially the Shiva Purana, Shiva is described as Anadi and Ananta, meaning without beginning and without end. This is a factual description found in scripture, but how it is understood depends on philosophy. Many scholars explain that this does not mean Shiva floated in space before time began. Instead, it means Shiva represents something that does not start or stop the way physical things do. This idea is central to Shaiva philosophy, where Shiva is seen as pure awareness rather than a created person. This raises an important question for destiny. If Shiva does not begin with birth, then is birth really the starting point of meaning in life? In daily life, people often believe their future is decided by their start: family, money, education, or mistakes made early on. Yet philosophy invites us to pause and ask whether awareness can begin later, even if life itself began earlier. This is not presented as a proven fact, but as an idea supported by how consciousness is discussed in Shaiva thought. Awareness is not tied to age, location, or status. It appears when understanding deepens. Can someone who feels late in life still begin something meaningful? Philosophers would say this question itself shows that destiny may not be fixed. There is also debate among scholars, and it is important to be honest about that. Some traditions focus more on devotional stories that speak of Shiva's appearances, while others stress symbolism and inner meaning. No single text claims to settle the question forever. This openness is a strength, not a weakness. It allows people to reflect, rather than blindly accept. When myths speak in symbols, they invite thinking, not fear. In real life, this idea matters deeply. Many people feel trapped by their past or by labels given to them by society. If destiny only starts at birth, then change feels impossible. But if destiny begins with awareness, then change becomes possible at any stage. Is it possible that understanding yourself is more important than where you started? And if awareness can arise at any moment, what might that mean for your own path as this story continues? Many people get confused when they hear stories about Lord Shiva appearing in the world. Did he have a birth, like humans do, or are these just stories? In texts like the Linga Purana, there are descriptions of Shiva showing up in forms that seem like a beginning. For example, the famous Lingodbhava story describes a pillar of light appearing to Brahma and Vishnu. At first glance, it might feel like a birth because something suddenly exists in front of other gods. Yet, scholars explain that this story is symbolic. The pillar represents ultimate reality, something without a start or end, not a literal birth. This raises a curious question. If the story is symbolic, what does it mean for our own life? Are beginnings always physical, or can they be about understanding and awareness? The same symbolism appears in many Puranas. Some stories describe Shiva emerging from meditation, or manifesting to teach, or interacting with gods and humans. None of these stories claim to provide a biological birth record. Philosophers argue that these appearances are lessons showing how awareness or truth can reveal itself rather than literal events. For people today, this is powerful because it changes how we think about destiny. Life may seem fixed because of when we were born, where we were born, or what we did early on. But if appearances can happen at any moment, can destiny also shift when awareness arises? This invites a question for every listener. Could you begin something meaningful today, even if you feel your past has limited you? Understanding symbolism also teaches humility. In the Lingodbhava story, Brahma and Vishnu both failed to measure the pillar's limits. Only by accepting the truth does one see reality. This shows that ego, pride, or comparison cannot grasp destiny. Life lessons are often hidden in stories, but their meaning matters more than the literal events. Could it be that your success depends less on external circumstances and more on how honestly you approach life? Finally, this chapter invites reflection. If Shiva's birth is symbolic, can your own path begin at any time through awareness and choice? The texts do not give one answer, but by asking this question, we start seeing life differently. Can you recognize moments of clarity as new beginnings and let awareness guide your destiny rather than fear or circumstance? These questions will guide us as we explore deeper in the next chapter. Have you ever wondered why true wisdom often comes from quiet moments rather than loud actions? Could it be that the most important things in life begin in stillness, not motion? And how can learning from someone like Lord Shiva, who is often depicted in deep silence, help us navigate fear, failure, or confusion in our daily lives? These questions are at the heart of understanding the lessons hidden in Shiva's story, and they invite us to look beyond what we see to what we feel and understand inside. In many stories and images across Hindu traditions, Shiva is shown meditating long before creation begins. This silence is not emptiness, laziness, or avoidance. Philosophers explain it as pure awareness, a state of balance and observation from which action can rise in the right way. In Shiva philosophy, awareness is considered the ground from which the universe and all meaningful action flows. It teaches us that rushing or forcing things often leads to mistakes, confusion, and imbalance. Think about your own life. How often do decisions made in haste bring regret, while moments of reflection bring clarity? Could pausing, even when everything seems urgent, actually guide your destiny more safely than constant motion? This principle connects deeply with the idea of destiny. Many people feel trapped by social expectations, past failures, or timelines. But Shiva's silence suggests that destiny is not simply what happens to you. It begins when you develop awareness. When you are fully present and attentive, even difficult situations become opportunities to understand yourself and act wisely. Stories from the Shiva Purana describe sages who achieve great insight after periods of silence, showing that preparation and reflection are often the unseen steps that shape outcomes. Awareness also teaches humility and patience. Shiva's stillness before creation is a reminder that power does not always show itself in noise or display. In modern life, we often equate action with achievement, yet true progress may grow quietly inside us. Could it be that your destiny unfolds in ways that cannot be measured immediately, and that understanding, not speed, is the true measure of success? By contemplating these lessons, we start to see that silence and awareness are not passive, but deeply active forces that shape our choices, decisions, and ultimately, our destiny, guiding us toward balance and clarity, even in the most challenging times. Have you ever stopped to think why some of the wisest people in the world choose simple lives? Could it be that less is sometimes more when it comes to understanding our purpose? And what can a figure like Lord Shiva, who is depicted wearing ash and living simply on Mount Kailasa, teach us about facing fear, failure, or pressure in our own lives? These questions open a doorway to seeing how simplicity and detachment influence destiny in profound ways. In Hindu texts like the Shiva Purana, Shiva is described as wearing ash, living without grand palaces, and carrying very few possessions. This is not a sign of poverty or weakness. Philosophers explain that ash symbolizes impermanence. Everything material in life is temporary, and clinging to status, wealth, or fame often distracts us from understanding what truly matters. In modern life, many people tie their sense of self-worth to possessions, achievements, or social approval. Could it be that letting go of these attachments might give us a clearer view of our own potential? Could simplicity actually give strength rather than limit it? Simplicity is closely tied to awareness, the same quality we discussed earlier in Shiva's silence. When the mind is not crowded with unnecessary worries or desires, it can focus on what is meaningful and act with purpose. For example, someone overwhelmed by debt or endless comparison on social media may feel trapped or hopeless. Shiva's example reminds us that peace and clarity come from reducing distractions and embracing what truly matters, even if it is not immediately recognized or rewarded. Additionally, living simply teaches humility and honesty. Shiva's minimalistic life is voluntary, a choice rather than a punishment. This choice reflects inner freedom, freedom from ego, fear, and constant competition. When we apply this to daily life, it suggests that destiny is shaped not just by opportunities or luck, but by the values we hold and the clarity we cultivate. Are we acting out of pride or fear, or are our actions aligned with deeper awareness? Could adopting even small practices of simplicity in thought, word, or action help us create better paths in life? By reflecting on these lessons, we start to see that the ash and simplicity around Shiva are not just symbols. They are practical guides. They encourage us to focus on awareness over display, substance over appearance, and choices guided by understanding rather than social pressure. In this way, simplicity is not empty. It is a tool to shape our own destiny with courage, balance, and clarity, even in the face of modern challenges. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong, like others judged you for being different, or misunderstood your choices? Could it be that being on the edge is not a weakness, but a chance to discover your true path? And what lessons can we learn from Lord Shiva, who is often depicted living apart from gods and humans, wandering forests, mountains, and cremation grounds, yet remaining deeply compassionate? These questions invite us to explore the hidden power of being an outsider and how it shapes destiny. In Hindu texts like the Shiva Purana, Shiva frequently appears apart from ordinary society. He does not conform to social expectations, yet he protects the weak and listens to the unheard. Philosophers suggest that this symbolism is not about rejection, but about cultivating independence and inner clarity. Many people in modern life feel pressure to fit in, to conform, or to gain approval. Could it be that stepping outside the expectations of society, like Shiva, can actually allow us to see the world and ourselves more clearly? Being different often invites fear, judgment, or misunderstanding. Friends, colleagues, and even family may misinterpret actions that are guided by awareness rather than ego or ambition. Shiva's life shows that true compassion does not require acceptance or praise. He helps without asking for acknowledgement, demonstrating that impact and purpose are not measured by popularity or approval. In our own lives, this could mean continuing a passion or pursuing a goal, even if others doubt or criticize us. Does your fear of judgment prevent you from acting on what you know is right or meaningful? Shiva's outsider role also teaches resilience. Isolation, when approached with awareness, becomes a space to grow rather than a source of fear. Philosophers note that moments of solitude provide clarity, allowing decisions to arise from insight rather than distraction. For someone struggling with failure or misunderstanding, Shiva's example suggests that rejection does not define worth, and that solitude can actually strengthen character. Could the moments when you feel left out or overlooked be the very times when your awareness and destiny are developing most strongly? Finally, understanding Shiva as the outsider encourages a shift in perspective. Instead of fearing judgment or separation, we can view these experiences as opportunities to deepen self-understanding and focus on what truly matters. The lessons from Shiva's life, supported by the Shiva Purana and other Shiva traditions, show us that being apart is not a flaw, it is a gift. Being misunderstood can awaken resilience, compassion, and insight, shaping our destiny in ways that societal approval never could. Could embracing your differences today unlock a path to your true purpose tomorrow? Have you ever wondered why sometimes effort alone does not bring success, while at other times doing nothing seems unproductive? Could there be a deeper secret to moving forward in life without exhaustion or confusion? And what if the key to shaping destiny lies in understanding a balance between awareness and action? As shown in the stories of Lord Shiva and Shakti Shiva Purana, Shiva is portrayed as pure awareness, calm and meditative, while Shakti represents energy, movement, and creation. This duality shows that awareness alone, without action, can remain stagnant, and action alone, without awareness, can lead to chaos. Philosophers argue that destiny is shaped when these two forces work together. In our modern life, this is seen in work, relationships, and personal goals. How many times have we acted hastily without thinking or waited too long without taking steps? only to feel frustrated with the results. Shiva and Shakti together illustrate that awareness guides action, and action tests awareness. For example, a student may study diligently but without focus. Their effort may not lead to understanding. Conversely, someone may have insight about what needs to be done, but never acts, leaving their ideas unrealized. This balance is not only philosophical, but practical. Life often presents challenges that require both planning and execution, reflection and movement. Could understanding this balance reduce stress and help us make better decisions? The symbolism of Ardhanarishvara, where Shiva and Shakti are united in one form, shows equality and interdependence. Neither is superior, and neither is separate. Philosophers suggest that destiny unfolds smoothly only when these forces support each other. In personal growth, this teaches patience, strategic action, and emotional awareness. Could it be that moments of failure or confusion arise when this balance is lost, and that regaining equilibrium can open a path forward? Even in daily life, the dance of awareness and energy offers guidance. Meditation, reflection, and mindfulness strengthen awareness, while effort, practice, and application channel energy. Combining both ensures that actions are meaningful and outcomes are sustainable. The teachings of Shiva and Shakti, supported by the Shiva Purana and scholarly interpretations of Shaivism, show us that destiny is not random or fixed. It moves according to how wisely we integrate awareness and action. Could your next step toward your purpose become clearer if you honor both reflection and effort in equal measure? Have you ever felt that life seems stuck until a single moment changes everything? Could the way we understand ourselves actually shape the path ahead? And what if the beginning of true destiny is not marked by birth or age, but by awakening inside us? These questions lead us to the heart of one of the deepest teachings in Hindu philosophy. Shiva is not born in the ordinary sense. He represents pure awareness, and this awareness itself can awaken in anyone at any stage of life. Philosophers and scholars studying texts like the Shiva Purana and the Linga Purana emphasize that Shiva is described as Anadi and Ananta, without beginning or end. This means that his birth is symbolic, not biological. It shows that what truly matters is consciousness. In our lives, we often wait for a perfect opportunity or think that circumstances define our path, but the story of Shiva teaches us that awareness itself is the starting point. Could this perspective help us release fear about missing chances or being too late? Every moment of clarity in life mirrors Shiva's awakening. Someone who has struggled through failures may suddenly realize a solution they could not see before. Another person may discover purpose after a long period of confusion or loss. Philosophers call this recognition a birth of awareness. It is a turning point where understanding begins, and with it, the ability to shape destiny more consciously. How often do we ignore these moments because we are too focused on external measures of success? This awakening is also a reminder that awareness is not passive. Shiva, even as pure consciousness, is deeply involved in creation, balance, and guidance. Awareness leads to thoughtful action, not withdrawal. In our modern life, this lesson translates into making deliberate choices, understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and responding instead of reacting. Could applying this principle reduce anxiety, improve decision-making, and create more meaningful outcomes in your own life? Moreover, this awakening shows that destiny is not fixed by birth, age, or circumstances. Just as Shiva's awareness has no start, our inner growth can begin at any point. Philosophers and Shiva traditions suggest that every individual has the capacity for this realization. Meditation, reflection, and self-inquiry are tools to nurture it. When awareness arises, actions become wiser, relationships become healthier, and challenges become opportunities. Could it be that the key to a fulfilling life is not external success, but awakening the awareness that already exists within you? In this way, the symbolic birth of Shiva provides one of the most practical lessons in life. Your journey truly begins when understanding begins. Destiny is shaped by awareness, not timing. Effort without insight may fail, and insight without action may remain incomplete. But combining both can transform your path. By reflecting on these ideas, anyone can find hope, purpose, and clarity, showing that the story of Shiva is not just an ancient myth, but a timeless guide for navigating life. Have you ever felt restless when life seems slow, wondering if you are falling behind? What if the moments of pause in your life are not delays, but essential steps in understanding your true path? And could learning to embrace stillness be the key to shaping your destiny more clearly than constant action? These questions bring us to another powerful lesson from the life of Lord Shiva, his profound silence before creation. In Shaiva philosophy and texts like the Shiva Purana and the Linga Purana, Shiva is often depicted as sitting in deep meditation, completely still, before the universe unfolds. This silence is not emptiness or inactivity, it is complete awareness. Philosophers suggest that true action arises from stillness. In our modern lives, we often rush to solve problems, make decisions, or prove ourselves, forgetting that understanding before acting prevents mistakes and regrets. Could it be that our anxiety comes from ignoring this natural rhythm of reflection? Shiva's silence also teaches that patience is a form of strength. Many people feel pressured to succeed quickly, comparing themselves with others or worrying about missed opportunities. The symbolic meditation of Shiva shows that waiting, reflecting, and observing are necessary steps in life. This pause allows us to gather clarity and approach challenges with wisdom. How different would your choices be if you allowed yourself time to truly understand before acting? Another key point is that awareness in stillness is active, not passive. Shiva's meditation influences creation, balance, and harmony in the universe, demonstrating that reflection can guide action. In real life, moments of quiet thought can help solve difficult problems, calm emotional confusion, and improve decision-making. Philosophers point out that mindfulness, reflection, and meditation are modern practices that mirror this ancient principle. Could adopting this approach reduce stress and make your life feel more intentional? Finally, this teaching encourages seeing destiny not as a race, but as a process. Life may include pauses, setbacks, or slow periods, but these moments often protect us from hasty errors and teach lessons we might otherwise miss. Shiva's silence reminds us that progress is not only about moving forward, but about preparing the mind and heart to act with clarity. Could it be that the path to success is not speed, but understanding and awareness? By embracing silence and reflection like Shiva, we learn that destiny unfolds not through endless action, but through awareness guiding action. The ancient myth becomes a practical lesson. The pauses in life are not wasted. They are preparation, allowing clarity to grow and making every step more purposeful. This teaches us that understanding and awareness are as important as effort in shaping the life we truly desire. Have you ever wondered why life keeps changing, no matter how much you plan? Can accepting change make your challenges easier to handle? And what if the secret to a peaceful life lies in understanding the forces beyond our control? These questions take us to one of the most profound lessons of Lord Shiva, his connection with time, transformation, and the cyclical nature of life. Shiva is often called Mahakala, the Lord of Time, in texts like the Shiva Purana and Vishnu Purana, representing how creation, preservation, and destruction are all parts of a continuous cycle. Philosophers argue that Shiva's role is not only about destruction, but about transformation. In real life, we face unexpected changes, losses, and transitions. Viewing these moments as necessary transformations, like Shiva's dance of destruction and creation, allows us to embrace change instead of resisting it. How often do we suffer, not from events themselves, but from our refusal to accept change? Another key point is that Shiva teaches us adaptability. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we expect, and rigidity can cause frustration, stress, and despair. By witnessing Shiva's cosmic dance, Tandava, we see that even the most intense energy follows rhythm, balance, and natural laws. This inspires us to flow with life instead of fighting it. Could embracing the rhythm of life help you navigate challenges with less anxiety and more clarity? Shiva also represents inner transformation. Philosophers note that outer changes are mirrored by inner growth. Our experiences, whether joyful or painful, are opportunities for learning and strengthening character. In the modern world, people often resist change because it disrupts comfort zones. Shiva's example shows that enduring discomfort with patience can lead to wisdom, emotional resilience, and clarity in decision-making. Could your challenges be tools for personal growth if you viewed them this way? Finally, Shiva reminds us that time is not an enemy, but a guide. He embodies the truth that endings lead to beginnings and that nothing is permanent except change itself. Understanding this cycle allows us to let go of fear, regret, and attachment. By internalizing Shiva's perspective on time, we can approach life's uncertainties with courage, knowing that every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Could shifting your view of change transform your life entirely? By connecting with Shiva as the Lord of Time and transformation, we learn that challenges, changes, and endings are not threats, but lessons. Accepting life's cycles can reduce stress, encourage adaptability, and guide us toward inner peace. The ancient myth teaches a modern truth. Embracing change is the key to a life lived fully and wisely. Have you ever asked yourself whether life has a true beginning, or if some things have existed forever? Can understanding what is eternal help us handle life's uncertainties? And what if realizing the eternal nature of some things could change how we see our own challenges and fears? These questions bring us to one of the deepest lessons from Lord Shiva. His nature as an unborn god, untouched by the cycles of birth and death. Philosophers and scriptures like the Shiva Purana and the Linga Purana describe Shiva as Aja, the unborn, meaning he does not come into existence like humans or other beings. Unlike creatures that are born, live, and pass away, Shiva exists beyond time and space. In real life, humans often fear beginnings and endings. We stress about when things will start, how they will unfold, or when they will end. Shiva teaches that by understanding what is eternal, we can focus on what truly matters and let go of unnecessary worry about what we cannot control. How would your perspective change if you realized some forces in life are timeless and beyond human limits? Another point is that Shiva's eternal nature symbolizes inner stability. While the world changes constantly, knowing that something permanent exists can offer peace and direction. In personal experience, many people struggle with insecurity, uncertainty, and fear of failure. Shiva reminds us that grounding ourselves in something unchanging, whether it is knowledge, virtue, or self-awareness, allows us to navigate life with calm and confidence. Can connecting with eternal principles help you feel less lost amid chaos? Shiva's unborn nature also inspires humility and patience. We are reminded that life is fleeting, and attachment to temporary events often causes suffering. By observing Shiva as the timeless, unborn God, we learn to prioritize long-term values, wisdom, and spiritual growth over short-term distractions. Could shifting focus from temporary worries to eternal truths improve your decisions and relationships? Finally, understanding Shiva's eternal existence encourages us to see life's difficulties as temporary. While events, losses, or failures may feel overwhelming, they do not touch the eternal essence of existence. This perspective can inspire resilience, hope, and courage in facing challenges. Can realizing that some aspects of life remain constant give you the strength to endure anything? By learning from Shiva as the unborn God, we are invited to embrace a perspective beyond birth, death, and fleeting concerns. Recognizing eternity within and around us can guide our choices, reduce fear, and encourage inner peace, showing that wisdom comes from understanding what is timeless. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive in chaos, while others break under pressure? What if understanding cycles of destruction and creation could help you face challenges better? And could observing the rhythms of the universe give us guidance for our own lives? These questions connect deeply to Lord Shiva, especially through his cosmic dance of destruction and creation, known as Tandava, and its lessons on transformation and balance. Shiva's dance, described in texts like the Natya Shastra and the Shiva Purana, is not random. It symbolizes the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, showing us that destruction is necessary for renewal. In our daily lives, many of us fear endings, losing a job, a relationship, or even an opportunity. Shiva teaches that endings are not just losses, but also openings for new beginnings. How would your life change if you embrace change as a natural part of growth rather than fearing it? Another important point is the balance between power and calmness. In his Tandava, Shiva moves with immense energy, yet his mind remains centered and aware. This teaches us that external chaos does not have to disturb internal peace. In practical terms, someone facing workplace stress, family conflicts, or personal setbacks can learn from Shiva. While situations may be intense, maintaining focus, patience, and emotional stability is key to overcoming difficulties. Can adopting this mindset help you respond more wisely in challenging situations? Shiva's dance also represents the flow of energy in the universe, showing that all life is interconnected. Every action, reaction, or decision contributes to a greater cosmic rhythm. In personal experience, this reminds us that our choices affect not only ourselves, but those around us, inspiring responsibility and mindfulness. Could recognizing these connections make your decisions more thoughtful and meaningful? Finally, observing Shiva's cosmic dance encourages resilience and adaptability. Life often throws unexpected challenges, and resisting change can lead to suffering. Shiva demonstrates that embracing transformation allows growth, creativity, and inner strength. How might your perspective shift if you saw every challenge as part of a larger, natural rhythm? By reflecting on Shiva's cosmic dance, we learn that destruction and creation are inseparable. Balance is essential, and adaptability leads to resilience. These insights inspire us to face life's challenges with courage, awareness, and a deeper understanding of the cycles that shape our existence. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm in chaos while others panic over small problems? What if there was a way to strengthen your mind and emotions so that challenges no longer overwhelm you? And could practicing awareness help you see your true potential hidden within daily struggles? These questions are at the heart of understanding Lord Shiva and his profound connection with meditation and inner awareness, a practice that teaches resilience, focus, and the ability to navigate life's uncertainties. Philosophers and spiritual texts describe Shiva as the supreme meditator, whose deep absorption in meditation allows him to remain unattached to worldly distractions. In the Shiva Samhita, meditation is depicted as a tool not just for spiritual growth, but also for understanding the nature of reality itself. In practical terms, meditation can help anyone manage stress, control emotions, and make decisions with clarity. Have you noticed how a few quiet minutes can change your perspective and calm your mind? Shiva exemplifies how regular practice of inner reflection strengthens mental and emotional resilience. Another key point is the relationship between self-discipline and awareness. Shiva's meditative state is not passive. It requires consistent practice, focus, and detachment from impulsive desires. This teaches us that mastering the mind is not easy, but the rewards include greater self-control, wisdom, and clarity. Could adopting even a small routine of reflection or meditation improve your ability to handle difficult situations? Shiva's meditation also symbolizes connection to the universal consciousness, reminding us that we are not isolated, but part of a larger whole. Recognizing this connection can shift our perspective from fear and anxiety toward understanding and acceptance. For example, when facing uncertainty in work, relationships, or health, acknowledging the interconnectedness of life encourages patience and thoughtful action. How might seeing yourself as part of a bigger picture change the way you respond to problems? Finally, the practice of meditation highlights the power of inner silence and focus. In a world full of distractions, finding a still moment allows clarity, creativity, and emotional stability. Many modern stress-related issues, from overwork to anxiety, can be managed through awareness practices inspired by Shiva. Could dedicating time each day to quiet reflection help you discover solutions and inner strength that were previously hidden? By exploring Shiva's approach to meditation, we learn that inner awareness, self-discipline, and mindful reflection are keys to navigating life with calm, clarity, and confidence, inspiring us to face challenges with resilience and a steady mind. Have you ever felt torn between starting something new and letting go of the past? How do we know when it's time to take action and when it's better to wait? Could understanding the balance of creation and destruction help us make better choices in life? These are questions that resonate deeply when we reflect on Lord Shiva's role as the cosmic force of both creation and destruction, a duality that offers important lessons for handling change, challenges, and growth. Philosophers describe Shiva as not just a destroyer in a negative sense, but as a necessary force that clears the old to make way for the new. This concept teaches us that endings are not failures, but opportunities for growth. For example, losing a job might initially feel like a setback, but it can create space for discovering new skills or passions. By embracing Shiva's principle, we can see life's transitions as essential steps in a larger cycle rather than random misfortunes. Have you considered how letting go of habits, beliefs, or relationships that no longer serve you could open the door to new possibilities? Another key point is the connection between responsibility and awareness. Shiva's actions are deliberate, not impulsive. Destruction occurs only when necessary, reflecting wisdom and timing. In our own lives, learning to act thoughtfully rather than react impulsively can prevent unnecessary conflict and help us focus on meaningful goals. Could paying more attention to timing and intention improve how you handle difficult situations? Shiva's dual role also highlights the power of transformation. Life constantly presents moments that feel disruptive, yet these challenges can transform our perspective, priorities, and character. Consider how challenges like moving to a new city or facing health issues often lead to unexpected personal growth. By viewing destruction as part of transformation, we learn to face uncertainty with courage and clarity. Finally, understanding Shiva's balance between creation and destruction teaches adaptability and resilience. Just as the universe cycles through creation and dissolution, our lives involve periods of growth and endings. By accepting this natural rhythm, we become more resilient, able to embrace change with less fear and more insight. Could recognizing life as a series of cycles help you navigate change more effectively and reduce anxiety about the unknown? Through Shiva's example, we see that creation and destruction are intertwined forces that guide growth, transformation, and resilience, reminding us that endings are not the end, but an invitation to evolve and embrace life's ever-changing journey. Have you ever wondered if some forces in life exist beyond birth and death? Can something truly eternal guide us in understanding change, purpose, and destiny? What can we learn from something that has no beginning but influences everything around us? These questions lead us to the fascinating philosophical view of Lord Shiva as an unborn, eternal god, a concept that challenges us to think beyond ordinary life and explore the deeper nature of existence. Philosophers often emphasize that Shiva's unborn nature symbolizes the timeless essence of consciousness. Unlike beings who are born and die, Shiva represents a constant presence that underlies all creation. This idea reminds us that certain truths, like love, wisdom, or courage, exist within us even before we fully recognize them. For instance, when facing fear or uncertainty, we often discover inner strength that feels as if it was always there. Could acknowledging this eternal aspect of ourselves help us face life's challenges with more confidence? Shiva's eternal nature also teaches us detachment from temporary outcomes. Since he is not bound by birth or death, Shiva acts without attachment, showing that results are not as important as intention and awareness. In everyday life, we can apply this by focusing on effort rather than constant worry about success or failure. Have you noticed how being present and acting with clear purpose often leads to better results than stressing over what might happen? Another key insight is the balance of permanence and impermanence. While Shiva is eternal, everything around him changes. Planets move, seasons pass, people grow and fade. This contrast encourages us to embrace change while staying connected to enduring values like honesty, kindness, and patience. Could understanding this balance help you navigate life's uncertainties with calm and clarity? Finally, contemplating Shiva as unborn opens the door to personal transformation and awareness. By reflecting on what is eternal within us, our values, intentions, and consciousness, we gain a broader perspective on life. Everyday struggles then become opportunities for growth, and moments of joy and sorrow are seen as part of a larger, timeless journey. How might recognizing the eternal within yourself change the way you respond to challenges and opportunities? Shiva's unborn nature reminds us that beyond beginnings and endings, there exists a constant source of wisdom, strength, and clarity. By connecting with this eternal aspect, we learn to live more mindfully, act more purposefully, and navigate life's cycles with courage and insight. Have you ever asked yourself why some challenges feel endless while others pass in an instant? Can understanding something eternal, like Shiva, change the way you see your own life? What if there was a way to connect with timeless wisdom to guide your decisions, actions, and emotions? These questions lead us to the final lesson, exploring how the 15 key insights of Lord Shiva can inspire, motivate, and transform our daily lives. Philosophers describe Shiva as both a destroyer and creator, reminding us that endings make room for new beginnings. Life often presents obstacles, losses, and unexpected changes, but like Shiva, we can learn to see these moments as opportunities to grow and rebuild. Recognizing that destruction is part of creation encourages us not to fear change, but to embrace it with courage. Could viewing setbacks as stepping stones rather than failures shift your perspective on life? Shiva's unborn and eternal nature shows that there is a part of ourselves that exists beyond immediate circumstances. Our inner wisdom, resilience, and values remain constant, even when external situations shift dramatically. This inspires detachment from temporary outcomes, helping us act with intention instead of reacting impulsively to fear or desire. Have you noticed how staying grounded in your principles often brings clarity even in the most confusing situations? His form, often depicted with a third eye, symbolizes awareness beyond the ordinary, urging us to develop deeper insight into our thoughts and emotions. By observing ourselves with honesty and compassion, we learn to respond wisely instead of being controlled by impulsive habits. Can you imagine how life might change if you made choices from awareness rather than immediate emotion? Shiva also represents balance between action and stillness, creation and destruction, the eternal and the temporary. Applying this balance to daily life means taking decisive action while knowing when to pause and reflect. It means cultivating patience while remaining courageous and persistent. How might embracing balance in your choices reduce stress and bring harmony to your life? Finally, Shiva's timeless presence teaches that wisdom, purpose, and strength are always accessible. By connecting with this eternal aspect, we can face challenges with clarity, embrace joy without clinging, and navigate life with courage and insight. Every action, no matter how small, becomes meaningful when guided by these principles. Could recognizing your own inner, eternal strength empower you to live more fully, purposefully, and peacefully every day? Shiva's lessons are not just spiritual ideals. They are practical guides for living with courage, awareness, and wisdom. By understanding and applying these insights, we discover a path to resilience, clarity, and lasting inner peace, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and purpose. As we reach the end of this journey, it is important to remember that the story of Lord Shiva is more than mythology. It is a guide to understanding life, challenges, and ourselves. Philosophers describe Shiva as both eternal and unborn, showing us that while the world changes around us, there is a part of reality that remains constant and unchanging. This eternal aspect teaches us to focus on what lasts, like our values, wisdom, and inner strength, rather than getting lost in temporary difficulties or pleasures. By seeing life through this perspective, we can approach problems with patience, courage, and clarity. Shiva's qualities, such as balance, awareness, and transformation, provide practical lessons for everyday life. Just as Shiva is both a creator and destroyer, we learn that endings are not failures. They are chances to start anew and grow stronger. His third eye reminds us to develop insight and self-awareness, helping us make better choices instead of being driven by fear or impulse. The idea of balance encourages us to act when needed and pause to reflect, showing that strength is not only about doing, but also about understanding when to wait, observe, and plan. Applying Shiva's teachings helps us handle real-world challenges like stress, loss, or uncertainty in a more calm and thoughtful way. When we face difficulties, we can remember that just as Shiva exists beyond time and change, we too have inner strength that can guide us through tough moments. By practicing awareness, patience, and balance, we can transform struggles into lessons and live a life full of purpose, courage, and meaning. In the end, understanding Shiva is not just about belief. It is about learning how to live wisely and peacefully in a world full of change. These insights encourage us to stay grounded, grow through challenges, and act with clarity and courage. Every day gives us a chance to apply this wisdom and find strength in ourselves, showing that Shiva's eternal lessons are not only ancient truths, but practical guidance for anyone seeking a meaningful and balanced life.